In January of 2024, without too much media attention, the first step of an important transit link opened in downtown Miami. Tri-Rail is a 73-mile commuter rail line in southern Florida that connects Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, hence the tripartite Tri-Rail. The line runs several miles to the west of most of the downtown areas of the cities it serves. Especially in Miami, the distance between Tri-Rail and downtown is quite far, with Tri-Rail service terminating at the airport. The extension that opened in January saw a shuttle service launched between MiamiCentral station in downtown Miami and the existing Tri-Rail service. But how did people get from Miami to Tri-Rail before that shuttle service opened? That's what we're going to do today. This video was filmed in September of 2023. After arriving into Miami on Brightline, which had just opened its Orlando extension that week, I had a little bit of time to spend in Miami before I headed back home to DC. So of course, I decided to check out some of the city's unique public transportation.
Whoa, what is that?
That? Oh, that's the Miami Metro Mover, an automated people mover that connects downtown Miami.
Are you gonna make a video of that?
As a matter of fact, I am. If you subscribe to Trains Are Awesome, you'll be notified when that video releases. Anyways, my flight left out of Fort Lauderdale Airport, so I had to give myself a decent amount of time to get up there. Fort Lauderdale Airport is served by Tri-Rail, so of course, my first step is to get to Tri-Rail. But since this is September 2023, there is no shuttle yet. So this is where Miami Metrorail comes in. Let's buy a ticket and head up to the platform so we can get on a Green Line train. The Miami Metrorail opened in 1984. The total system length is 24 miles or 39 kilometers, divided between two lines, orange and green.
Next station is Government Center. Transfer here from Metro Mover. Please check your area and take all personal belongings with you before exiting the train. Thank you.
Though there are two lines, on the vast majority of the system, they share tracks and act as one line. In fact, the orange line only has one stop of its own, while the green line has 7. All other stations are on the shared section. Our first destination today is literally called Tri-Rail Transfer Station because its main purpose is to provide a transfer between the Metro and Tri-Rail. On the Tri-Rail side of things, the station is called Metrorail Transfer. I'm just gonna call it Transfer Station from now on. A ride from downtown to Transfer Station takes about 20 minutes. Okay, I actually like Miami Metrorail. The trains were relatively clean, the frequency was pretty good, and I like the little, the blue and the white interior design makes it feel very, oceany. It was nice. They kept reminding me to check my area to make sure it was clean. My area is clean, don't worry. The transfer to Tri-Rail here is super easy. In just 2 minutes, I walked all the way down and already bought a ticket, so. Now, here I was a little stressed because I had to buy a ticket in just a few minutes before my train arrived. The ticket machines, however, are very easy to use, and my ride ended up costing $3.75 to get to Fort Lauderdale Airport. And here comes our train now. Okay, the blue sky and palm tree livery is kind of hilarious, but I have to say, I also kind of dig it. It's original. No other commuter train that I know of has a livery quite like this. Let's take a quick look at the interior. We'll look at it in more detail later in the video. On the bottom floor of our Bombardier bi-level car, we see a lot of bike racks. I actually have no idea what the state of bicycle infrastructure is in this part of Florida, but at least the train has space for them. As I always do when I ride double-deck trains, I opted for the top floor. On the walls, we see a wallpaper that looks like an unrenovated beachside motel. Inside and out, these trains have a vintage feel, but not quite vintage enough to make them classic. They're still very much in the dated stage. Soon after leaving transfer station, we pass the Amtrak Miami station. Miami is currently served by the Silver Meteor and the Silver Star, both overnight trains to New York. I know that they are in the process of moving service over to Miami Airport Station, which is where Tri-Rail also terminates, but I don't know what the status update on that transition is yet. Here in the yard, there is a variety of Tri-Rail rolling stock, and so we get another look at their characteristic livery. Tri-Rail is actually in the process of updating their livery to look like this, and though I must say that the new color scheme looks very sharp as well, it won't be as iconic as the palm trees. The tracks that we are running on are owned by the Florida Department of Transportation. Nevertheless, they are still dispatched by freight company CSX, the previous owner of the tracks. The shuttle service also brings passengers from MiamiCentral to Transfer Station. It arrives 5 minutes before the arrival of a northbound train and leaves 5 minutes after the departure of a southbound train. Though a transfer to Metro is no longer necessary, the shuttle still takes 20 minutes to complete its run. Ultimately, the goal is to have mainline service run directly onto the branch into Miami Central Station. Our first stop is Opa-locka, which quickly made its way onto my list of favorite station names in the US. Our journey to Fort Lauderdale Airport is only 5 stops and about 20 minutes of travel time, but we do have some time to briefly go over a few Tri-Rail facts. Interestingly, Tri-Rail first started as a temporary solution. In 1989, the Florida Department of Transportation began a years-long construction project on the adjacent highway, so they opened a commuter rail service to help relieve some traffic. Initially, there were even free fares, but the service proved to be so popular that Tri-Rail was turned into a permanent service that continues to run to this day. In fact, in terms of service, it's one of the best commuter rails in the country. On the main line, trains run from about 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. on weekdays. With 25 departures a day per direction, that means a departure almost every half hour, with a few midday gaps of an hour. On the weekends, trains depart every hour all day. Still not bad for American standards. For the future, the region is looking at adding a second commuter rail line paralleling the existing Tri-Rail service, but using the tracks owned by the Florida East Coast Railway, the railway that Brightline currently runs their trains on. So first of all, there's a water fountain here, which I appreciate the idea, but who's going to drink out of that? The floor looks like it's seen better days, and the bathroom is downright disgusting. You know, I've been looking forward to riding Tri-Rail for a while now, and while in some aspects today certainly lived up to my expectations, the quality of the train, at least the one I was on, was quite disappointing. Everything was very dirty, and different parts of the train seemed to suggest a mentality of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and if it is broke, we'll see if we do anything about it. There are nice big luggage racks though, so that's good for a train that serves many airports. We've made it to Fort Lauderdale Airport Station. Time for one last goodbye to those palm trees. Made it to Fort Lauderdale Airport Station. Now, in the parking garage of the station, you can transfer to a shuttle bus to the airport terminal, which is what we're going to do. At the airport, we'll debrief on Tri-Rail. Free shuttle buses connect the train station with the actual airport terminal, which is located some distance to the east, much like anything else you would want to access by Tri-Rail. The ride is smooth enough, but don't expect the driver to tell you when we're leaving or what terminal he's stopping at. Well, I was not expecting the bus ride to take that long. I'm glad I got on the train when I did. I had to find my way onto this terminal connector shuttle, which drove little circles through the parking lot at a walking pace. It wasn't the clearest airport wayfinding experience I've ever had, but hey, LAX, why are you building a people mover if you could just bounce people around on a golf cart with trailers? So I've made it through security. I have to say Fort Lauderdale has my favorite TSA agent ever because he saw my shirt and he knew what the Shinkansen was, and we talked about trains for 2 minutes and it was great. On the subject of trains, let's talk about Tri-Rail. So let's start with the positives. I think that the frequency is really good and it also serves a lot of communities over quite a long distance. So it's definitely a useful line. And that livery, it's tacky, but it's cool. I really love it. I've been looking forward to riding Tri-Rail for a long time. It's definitely something that I wanted to cross off my list. In terms of the negatives, the stations are quite inconvenient to get to, including this airport station. And those bi-level cars, I mean, I've been on quite a few of them now, and these were by far the dirtiest that I'd ever been on. Not to mention that they were also broken. So sprucing up the fleet would do it a lot of good. That being said, Tri-Rail has an exciting future and I'm excited to cover it more in future videos. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to Trains Are Awesome if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.